What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here with my fellow pet detective Yamcha, and as most of you all already know, the Petito family filed a lawsuit against the parents of Brian Laundrie. And as soon as I heard that news, the first thing that came to my mind was, well, it's time to get the band back together. I got Yamcha ready. I briefed him on all of the updates. And I was like, you know what? We got to hop back on this story. And I assume we're going to start seeing some of the familiar faces that we remember from this case. I'm sure that once this goes to court, some of the protesters that we remember from the case will be outside. And of course, we have to hear from the lawyer of the Laundries, who I thought was one of the stars of this whole entire case, Stephen Two Text Bertolino. He is back. And of course, if you've looked into this lawsuit, I already broke it down on my page. I broke it down extensively. I even made separate videos reacting to some of the new information that we got from this lawsuit and reacting to some of the allegations made against the Laundries. And there's a lot of new allegations made against the Laundries. Is there evidence to back it up? I am sure. But as of right now, the Laundries supposedly haven't even gotten the paperwork from this lawsuit yet. But Bertolino was forced to come out and make a statement. Let's see what he has to say. As I have mentioned over the last several months, the Laundries have not publicly commented at my direction, which is their right under the law. Assuming everything the Petitos allege in their lawsuit is true, which we deny, this lawsuit does not change the fact that the Laundries had no obligation to speak to law enforcement or any third party, including the Petito family. This fundamental legal principle renders the Petitos' claims to be baseless under the law. Stephen Bertolino, Laundrie attorney. Now, isn't it funny how he words this? He says that assuming everything the Petitos allege in their lawsuit is true, which we deny, this lawsuit does not change the... So he's saying, like, it's like, are you assuming that it's true, or do you say that it's outright a lie because you're denying it? So there is no such thing as assuming everything the Laundries say is true if you're denying that everything they say is true. But I guess what he's trying to get at is, even if it were true, even if every single one of these allegations were true, this is still, the claims are still baseless under the law, because legally, the Laundries did not have to answer their phone calls. Legally, the Laundries didn't have to say anything. And I feel like that's kind of messed up. Although, maybe technically that is the truth, I just feel like there's so many details here that just downright incriminate them. And in many ways, I mean, I just feel like people get locked up for less every day. I feel like every day right here in America, people get locked up for way less than what the Laundries have done. You watching this video, some of you all out there, I can assume that there's plenty of y'all who have been locked up for way less than what the Laundries have done here. But basically what he's trying to say is that under law, that all of these claims are bogus, that they can't do anything about it. But that's the thing, this is what I don't understand. So he says, assuming that everything the Petitos say is true, that it's still baseless under the law, but he's denying that it's true. But if you're denying that it's true, then why does the law matter? You know? I don't know. It's kind of weird what he's saying here, but how can he deny some of these allegations? I'm pretty sure they're real. You know, the allegations about them refusing to talk to them and blocking them and various other things. I mean, I'm assuming those allegations were real, but we actually heard from the Petito family attorney as well, which is someone who we haven't heard from much this entire time. And I'll be honest, I was kind of, I don't want to say I was harsh on him, but I was a little, I don't know. I just felt like we didn't hear from him much this entire case. And I felt like he could have done more. I know, like, he was there. I know whenever there was a public, a public meeting for the Petitos, whenever they, made a statement or a press conference or anything, he was there. But I just felt like I wanted to hear his voice more along the way, because it was like every day, every other day, we're hearing for Bertolino. Bertolino this, Bertolino says that, Bertolino says this. And it was like we weren't ever really hearing from the Petito family lawyer. So I was a little bit, I don't want to use the word harsh, but I came down on him a little hard for a while there, because I just felt like we weren't hearing from him. But we heard from him now, so let's see what he has to say. Brian Laundrie murdered Gabby Petito in Wyoming on August 27th, 2021, while they were on a cross-country trip. Gabby and Brian were engaged to be married and would have been part of the Laundrie family. This meant nothing to Christopher and Roberta Laundrie after their son ended Gabby's life. We believe Christopher and Roberta Laundrie became aware of Gabby's murder on August 28th. There were multiple conversations between Brian, listen to this now. There were multiple conversations between Brian, his parents, and their lawyer, Stephen Bertolino, before Brian left Wyoming on August 30th, 2021. Christopher and Roberta had multiple opportunities to disclose to Joe, Nicole, or the authorities that Gabby was no longer alive and to direct them to her body. Instead, Christopher and Roberta Laundrie showed callous indifference to the suffering of Gabby's family and compounded her family's anguish, pain, and suffering by their actions. For this, Christopher and Roberta must be held accountable. Rick Stafford, attorney for Joseph Petito and Nicole Smith. So you see here, I don't know how many of you all, how well you all remember this case. It was a big deal that Bertolino was saying that he hadn't talked to Brian before he returned home. That while Brian was on this trip, he supposedly hadn't talked to Brian yet. And that was a big deal on the case when the case was ongoing, because everyone was trying to pinpoint whether Bertolino ever saw or talked to Brian Laundrie, period, and if he did, what that timetable was, because we were trying to figure out, what the timetable was if Brian Laundrie had escaped the country. We were just trying to pinpoint when's the last time people talked to him and heard from him and whatnot. And from what Bertolino said, he hadn't talked to Brian at this point. But from this new claim, they're claiming that Bertolino, not only was he already, contacted by the parents, but he had already talked to Brian before Brian ever left Wyoming. And that makes Bertolino look really bad. But, what will he say to this? I'm not sure. But I don't know. How can he just easily just lie like this? And, I guess there's nothing's going to happen to him. We can shut off all hope of that. But it's the fact that he's just outright lying. Just outright lying. And it's just weird. It's really weird when you think about it, because we had all of these timetables down pat. Those of us who are following this case really closely, we had all the dates and times down pat from when, Brian was seen and when he was talked to by various people and different things of that nature. And now the whole story changes and nothing's going to be done about it. I guess he just lied and he'll get away with it, just like the parents have gotten away with lying for the most part. But I really thought that was a big detail, finding out that Brian not only, let his parents know that he killed Gabby before he ever even traveled home, but the fact that he was already in contact with his lawyer and they had already had conversations prior to him leaving Wyoming. Who knows what they were really trying to set Brian up for here. But I would assume that it was the lawyer's idea, Bertolino's idea, possibly for Brian to come back home. Like, I don't think that Brian on his own came to his own conclusion to just, I'm going to drive back home and we'll figure things out from there. I think that Bertolino and the family convinced Brian to come back home first before they made whatever plans going forward. But Bertolino is denying this. He's denying that he talked to Brian before he ever got back home to Florida. So it's like, do you take the word of the Petito lawyer or the Laundrie lawyer? I think I'm going to take the Petito lawyer's word for it, Rick Stafford, because we know for a fact that Bertolino has lied on several different occasions. And not only lied, he was just incriminating people along the way. It was a crazy case. We don't need to go over it again. We've already, gone over it enough on this channel. But yeah, he's saying that they still haven't, Bertolino denies all of this, says they still haven't received the documents, and we're just going to have to take it from there. So who knows what will come out of this lawsuit? I hope the Petitos win. I hope the Petitos are able to milk the Laundries for whatever they're worth, or as much as they possibly can, because the Laundries put them through so much. And for the life of me, I don't understand how the Laundries not only got away with this without getting criminal charges, which I guess that's more understandable, but no fines, not a single fine for all the money wasted while they search for her son. That is just, they got off so easy. They got off so easy, and there's so many people in America that, get it way worse, but it is what it is. I want to know your thoughts about all of this, though, down in the comments below. Obviously, Yamcha has some thoughts that he wants to express as well, don't you? But let me know your thoughts. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and as always, find some time out of your day to go watch a movie.